Get £300 off your next used car. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to the Football Show. It's Thursday, 13th of December. I'm Peter Martin, delighted to have your company tonight. The guests on the show, as ever, Alan Ruff here alongside me with Gordon Smith to look ahead to the weekend's football and, of course, some of today's headlines. Yeah, lots to talk about with Ruffy and Gordon, and of course Christmas getting ever closer as we speak, and there's lots of football packed in before we eventually get to Santa Claus delivering presents for two men who have absolutely everything and very difficult to buy for. Now listen, the main story tonight centres around, of course, Lee Griffiths. I think the heartwarming thing, especially at this period and the festive period, is that the football community is rallying around Lee Griffiths, Ruffy. Just so many people offering support on social media.
Yeah, I think everybody's aware now the problems of if it is gambling or mental issues, that you need as much support as possible from everywhere. Doesn't matter who you are, you know, it must be a horrible thing to go through yourself. So the more support you get, the better.
Yeah, and you know, that's just a selection of them, but so many people just offering their support because there are people who've been through it and know how difficult it is. And I think a number of people are watching the way Celtic have dealt with this issue as well, because if your employer is doing everything to help you as well, that is something that needs to be commended, Gordon.
Absolutely, because and a lot of people will be thinking, you know, they'll obviously be very, very jealous of Lee Griffiths because of the position he's in, to play at the highest level in football and making all that money. They'll be wondering, why is this a problem? But it is a problem for people. These circumstances are totally different. It's a mental problem people have at times. They just can't cope with life as such. He's got issues. And it's good that the football club, first and foremost, are helping him as much as they can. And then obviously the public now has seen a lot of people out there are really sympathising with him and doing everything they can to help, because you want to see people recover from this. As I say, unfortunately, a lot of people don't get that level of support, and they don't really get, you know, the people behind them the way that Lee Griffiths has. So let's hope he can get over this as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because quite a lot of people, Ruffy, won't equate anyone who is wealthy. It looks as if they're holding a position that, you know, they're idolised. They don't see any justification in them suffering any of these problems that maybe someone who is poor. But we all are human beings. We all suffer these things. It doesn't matter, you know, whether you're wealthy or not.
No, it doesn't. You know, it can affect anybody. It doesn't matter what you do in life, you know. And sometimes it's the most unexpected people you would think. You would think Lee Griffiths, as we see, he's very outgoing. He's very, you know, appeases the fans and everything. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, right, does some stupid things," but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that you've got to come down on him because of that. You know, it is a thing, and it's getting more and more aware now that it is a problem, that if you don't get it seen to, it can get worse and worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's what the Celtic manager said about Lee Griffiths. He spoke at some length and for some time on his strikers' problems.
It's something that it's not easy, you know, and especially in this profession, but it's pretty clear that he needs that. And he needs that order in his life and an organisation that's going to help him show the great talent that he has, you know. But it's the most important thing for most managers and coaches is the welfare of a player, you know, and that welfare for him is something that is utmost important for us. So, so we'll seek the professional help. You know, there'll be an assessment of where he's at, and then there'll be a plan in place to help him moving forward.
Yeah, he needs all the time just to get himself back 100%. And of course, you know, over and above that, as well as trying to help him, Celtic have to go on without him for this game against RB Salzburg. We'll obviously discuss Rangers against Rapid Vienna on the Friday to look back at it, but you know, they have to go on without him. Lee Griffiths himself is well aware that there's a long journey back to the Celtic first team, and he's tweeted out today, "I just want to thank everyone at the club and so many Celtic fans and other people who've sent me such kind and powerful messages of support. I thank you all sincerely and want to let you know I'm doing all I can to come back as soon as possible, a better and stronger person." Well, I think that's wise words indeed from Lee Griffiths. Let's hope that he gets all the help he can professionally and he's back wearing the Celtic strip soon. As far as Celtic are concerned, Salzburg, that's the next issue for them. They have to get on without Lee Griffiths and look to Odsonne Edouard to carry them all the way to the transfer window.
Yeah, and that's sort of a minor problem for Celtic because Edouard hasn't been, you know, the striker we thought he was going to be. He has his good moments, he has his off days, and when he gets his off days, obviously Lee Griffiths comes on. You know, that isn't the case now. That would be a problem if he doesn't rise to what he can do, because obviously there's nobody there to replace him.
But he's fortunate in the extent that, unlike maybe a lot of other strikers, Peter, he's got support from other positions that are scoring goals too. So, you know what I mean, you've got a midfield at Celtic at the moment that all of a sudden they're beginning to come into goals. James Forrest, obviously, you know, and Christie's putting the ball in the net. Yeah. You've got McGregor can score. So from that point of view, that's why the striker isn't 100% crucial here if you've got the people around about you that are also can finish.
It's Celtic against RB Salzburg tonight. Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi looks ahead to the game.
Celtic take on Red Bull Salzburg on Thursday night for their final Europa League group game in front of an expected sellout 60,000 capacity crowd. Celtic go into the game second in the group on 9 points, 6 behind leaders and opponents Red Bull Salzburg, but crucially they're 3 points ahead of Leipzig. This means all Brendan Rodgers' side need to do to qualify for the last 32 is draw the match, but Rodgers said that is not how his side play.
I think it's unworkable as a coach and a manager to go in, and especially when your game is based around an offensive game, an aggressive game. You know, that's our intent always is to go and win.
Following a slow start to the season, Celtic's form has really picked up. They haven't lost since late October when they were beaten by Leipzig, winning 8 of their last 10 matches, and the Hoops haven't lost at home since the last day of the season to Aberdeen. Salzburg form is more impressive though. They've won 5 of their last 6 and sit top of the Austrian Bundesliga by 14 points. They haven't lost all season. The pair met in early October with Salzburg running out 3-1 winners, despite the Hoops taking an early lead through Odsonne Edouard. Celtic will be without Dedrick Boyata through injury, so Croatian pair Benkovic and Simjonovic will start. Lee Griffiths is taking some time out of football to focus on his off-the-field issues and will receive professional help. It is still to see if captain Scott Brown can force his way back into the dynamic midfield that Celtic have been playing with for the last 6 weeks. Loan signing Filip Benkovic said that the atmosphere at Celtic Park can help make the difference.
When stadium is full, when stadium is, like crazy, it's very, very, very nice to play football in this ambient. Yeah.
Whether it is the atmosphere, the disco lights or the players themselves, Celtic will be hoping for a moment of magic to secure them European football after Christmas.
Yeah, just hearing Filip Benkovic there. Claude Puel, the Leicester City boss, has mentioned that he's quite happy for Benkovic to stay at Celtic until the summer and continue his development. Barry Ferguson suggested maybe Celtic should try and tempt Leicester City with an offer for him, but he's a key player in that back line, especially in European games.
Yeah, and that has been the major problem for Celtic in European football. They haven't had a settled 2 centre-halves, who would complement each other. Again, it's happened again. Simjonovic is back in again, Boyata's out. So, no, the big man's come in and he's done particularly well. I think he's impressed everybody. He's good building up for the back, and he's got the right attributes to play that position, particularly in European football.
How do you see it going, Gordon?
I think Celtic can get the point. I'm not sure they can get the win. If they play really well, they will. It depends if Salzburg are up for it, because I've already mentioned they have 15 points from 5 games. This is a meaningless game for them to a certain degree. You don't know whether they'll be fired up on the respect to the same sponsors are also sponsors of Leipzig, who, if they win tonight, which we expect them to do against Rosenborg, then Celtic have to then get a point from the game. So that might mean that Salzburg might be want to win that game for Leipzig. Who knows?
Gordon suggests collusion at the highest level.
Just happen to have the same sponsors.
Are they going to draw or win?
I think Celtic will draw tonight.
Yeah, I think they'll draw as well. I'm going to go for one each.
Yeah, go for one each. Okay, you can give us your thoughts after the game. And over and above that, we will look back at the performance of Rapid Vienna against Rangers and Celtic against RB Salzburg. After this quick break, we'll talk about Livingston against Hearts. Gordon Smith and Alan Ruff are with me, Peter Martin, on the Football Show Monday to Friday. Hopefully you can join us every night to talk football, Scottish football especially, and if there's European action, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're still talking about Scottish clubs in Europe beyond January. And of course, if Celtic and Rangers could actually, when you look back at their performances in Europe, enhance their points in the coefficient, Gordon, suddenly we could find ourselves maybe jumping up the odd position, which I think is very much on the cards. You know, maybe not up to 17th, but certainly going up, I think, to something like 19th.
Yeah, it's a crucial factor. I always felt that this was something we should be concentrating on. That was one of the reasons when I went into the SFA, one of the first things I tried to do was to stop the actual runners-up in the Scottish Cup being in Europe. It's happened now, but I tried to do that first. And the reason was purely and simply because of the coefficient. Because although it was great, you see a lot of the smaller clubs getting to the cup final and maybe losing, because they an easy run in the way to the final, they never had to play any MD of any quality. But as soon as they were in Europe, we were getting some embarrassing results in European competition. That meant our coefficient dropped down, and that's why, to a certain extent, we're even seeing it now that even our major clubs like Celtic are having to play so many qualifying games because of the level of coefficient. So it's important we get that raised. Yeah,
if we got up to 17th or 16th in the coefficient in UEFA, Ruffy, suddenly that can eliminate something like the first round of qualifiers. You know, you're starting to play less and less games to get to the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, we always hear that Celtic playing the amount of games they've got, it's hard on them at the beginning of the season. So yeah, if that can get cut down, all the better. But also, I mean, they're talking about entering another competition. You know, our third tier European, you know, and obviously you don't want to be in that either. So the more points we get, the better that we can stay in the Europa.
Yep. Okay. Talking about games that are coming thick and fast. If you're a Scottish footballer, if you're actually anyone playing football in Scotland, let's be more specific about this, Gordon. It's a hectic period. There's not much time to actually sit down, open the Christmas presents and maybe watch a Bing Crosby movie because, you know, it's played at a frenetic pace all the way through here, the fixtures. Aberdeen 3, Livingston 2 was on the Tuesday. Suddenly Livingston are action tomorrow night against Hearts.
Yeah, it's tough for them to have to play again. I mean, that could be considered probably like a derby game. I know it's Hearts Hibs is always considered a derby, but I'd imagine that Livingston and Hearts might even be closer to each other in terms of stadiums, but it's a big game because Livy, as I say, were unlucky. I saw earlier on in the game on Tuesday night that they were leading. And I thought that's tremendous if they can go up to Aberdeen and win because they saw St Johnstone doing it. But then Aberdeen had a great comeback and got the late goals. So Livy, they've dropped out the top six, sitting in 7th place just now. But they'll be very keen, you know, to win this game, especially being a home match.
Yeah, 2 wins in 8, as Gordon mentioned there. Their forms just slowly started to drop away. Still managed wins over Motherwell and St Mirren, but you know that early season form could be so crucial.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, we saw other teams doing it. I think Hamilton did it one year. You know, they were sitting second in the league for a long, long time, and then obviously everything took its toll. And I think that's where the clubs like that, you know, St Johnstone, their player pool isn't as strong as the bigger clubs, and playing so many games, picking up injuries, suspensions, that's when they'll struggle. And I think that's when they'll start to identify these are the teams we need to take points off, and not the big sides, but the teams round about them.
Well, Hearts were able to stop the rot with that 1-0 win over Motherwell. One win in the last 8 games, Gordon. It's not great, but suddenly there's better music. Piezu, Suter could be back earlier than expected, maybe at some point to the tail end of January. Naismith on the way back as well. And Hearts revealing, Craig Levein mentioned that they're going to try, as much as possible to try and get Naismith to stay beyond the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a tremendous player for them. I think that very good signing. You're right, Ekpiezo being out there, Suter, Berra's only just come back as well. So there's no wonder that when you lose quality like that, it's all very well, as a squad game and all that sort of thing, but there are always key players there, and these are ones who I think were key players. I mean, they lost Lafferty as well, got transferred, so that he was out the door too. So when you consider him as well, that's 5 top players, 5 key players, all missing at the same time when Hearts are actually in a great run, top of the league, looking like they're going to challenge for the league. But as you said, Peter, it's dropped away since, and that was a wee bit of a comeback for them to get that result, against Motherwell, to fight back and get that. So once these players come back in, we might see a recovery from Hearts, and their season might take off again.
Yeah, I had them for top 3. I'm going to stick by that. I'm going to stick by the fact that they've had that dreadful run. Mm-hmm. But I think when they get players back, and remember, David Vanacek from FC Teplitsy's coming in the January transfer window. He was on a pre-contract, so he'll be in January. I think they might add a couple more.
Yeah, well, I think the 2 teams they've got to worry about is obviously Aberdeen and Hibs, and they aren't playing particularly well just now. So the more wins they get, obviously a win against Livingston would take them further away from, I think, their 2 main challengers in Aberdeen and Hibs.
Okay. Who's going to win the game then?
I'm going to go for Hearts to win that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it'll be a draw.
Okay, there you are. Can't get any better than that. You talked about Aberdeen there, Ruffy. Dave Cormack is on now as the vice chairman of the Dons. I wonder if that's a longer term plan for Dave Cormack to eventually become the chairman of Aberdeen. He's got a lot of connections in America. This could be some investment in the future with obviously the new stadium coming on board at Kingsford.
Yeah, then I think he's already put in $1 million of his own money, so he's very interested. He's always been an Aberdeen supporter, although he lived abroad, but he's back here now. And I think Aberdeen would be a club you would want to be part of, because obviously the stadium, the training ground and everything, so you've got to think positive and get right behind the club.
I think that because Stuart Milne, as long as he stays the owner and the main financier, I think he'll be the chairman.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But down the line, I think Dave Cormack, has done a good job. As Robbie says, very business experience and lots of contacts and all that. And they'll want to lift Aberdeen. I think they want to get Aberdeen up there as a challenging club again. It hasn't been there for a long, long time. They have, always been up near the top of the league, but they haven't really challenged as such the way they did in the Fergie era.
Yep. Okay. From domestic football, we've been watching the Champions League. Slowly but surely, teams have obviously finished their games and know exactly where they are. I have to say, it just shows you exactly the way things look. If you see last night's results, Celtic must be kicking themselves, Gordon, because AEK Athens contributed nothing to the group they were in. 6 games played, no points, and beaten last night by Benfica.
I know, you see some of the results there, and you look at teams like Real Madrid. I mean, there was games. Barcelona were the same the night before. They were basically meaningless games for them.
Yeah.
There was so many games like that I noticed in the Champions League. I was looking through to see what games I'd watch, and the number of groups I looked at and thought, there's nothing in this group tonight. The games had no meaning whatsoever for some of the teams that were up near the top. Well, some of them had nothing at all.
I always think Sir Alex Ferguson simplified the whole thing. The group stage was one of those, if you're a big club, those methodical things where you think to yourself, okay, get 3 home wins and 9 points more often than not gets you through, Ruffy.
Yeah, but I think if you were to pin them down, I think it is important to win your group. Obviously I think you get an easier tie in the next round, because you're not playing one of the group winners. So I think that's why it's important. There was, as Gordon says, some strange results. The Juve score took me surprise as well, because that young boys hadn't done anything, so you've got to think what team they put out. But Ronaldo was playing, so they didn't take it lightly.
Yeah, but they're through. I mean, that's the thing about it. I mean, I've got Juventus to win the tournament, Gordon. Yeah, at the group stages, there are some games that get you excited. You know, Tottenham against Barcelona at Wembley.
Yes.
You think, oh, I'll watch that. But I always think that the whole tournament comes to life quarters and semis, although the flip side of that, the criticism for me is quite simple. I think people will eventually get bored of the same teams getting into the Final Four.
They might do to a certain extent, but it is the big clubs. I mean, when we put it down to who we want to see, we generally want to see those teams. We generally think they're the teams we want to watch and play. So I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, you know, when you get to the final games, you're seeing Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, you know, Man City will probably be there this year, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at Barcelona.
Who's your tip?
Juventus. I can't remember who I tipped to this year, because I think I felt to myself it wouldn't be Real Madrid, and they've been so strong. They won the last three.
Yeah.
They're no young boys. No.
Yeah, being young boys, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember. I think it was Barcelona. I think I actually did tip Barcelona.
I think you might be right. I seem to remember that when you tipped Barcelona. Are you sticking with them?
I will do, because I always think when Lionel Messi in the team, you've always got a chance.
Yeah, okay. And Ruffy, you're still sticking with Atletico Madrid.
The most boring team to get to the final in the European Cup.
Yeah, I think the most boring team to win it over the last 10 years or so has to be Inter Milan when Jose Mourinho was the manager.
Yeah.
They bored their way to the Champions League final and won it as well. You might disagree. You can give us your thoughts. It's all about opinions. You've had a few tonight from Ruffy, from Gordon Smith. Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow again. Thanks for watching.
Get £300 off your next used car. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to PLZ Soccer. Why not join the football family and download the PLZ app? You'll get all the latest Scottish football news and up-to-date news on English and world football. There's also a feature here where you can record yourself talking about your favourite team. If we use the video, you could feature on our football show. For all the latest news in Scottish football, download the PLZ Soccer app in the App Store and in Google Play. Come and join the football family on PLZ Soccer.